Buenas YouTube, los saluda el pana, periodista deportivo que cubre el fútbol femenino, y en el día de hoy estoy muy contento porque voy a entrevistar a la directora de la obra de teatro que se llama Las Leonas Perdidas y que habla sobre la Copa Mundial de 1971 que se realizó en México, en la cual ganó Dinamarca. Porque por supuesto lo invito a que le den like y que se suscriban a mi canal de YouTube que se llama PanaFeme, que a mí me da muchísima fuerza. Voy a hacer pasar. Hi, Nicole.
Hello, Luis. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much thank you so much for accepting the invitation to talk to me about the play.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
How did you start? How did you start in your mind? Okay, I got to do that.
Yes, it's something I always thought about. I was lucky enough to grow up with this story for so many years when I was a child. My mom, who is my auntie sister, was only 8 at the time. So for her to look up to her older sister, she found it amazing. Her sister was an absolute hero. So she would tell me the story as though it was like the biggest thing in the world, which obviously it was. But obviously at the time, women's football wasn't as big as it is right now. And to hear that women played football to me was inspiring because I never saw men play football, and I love football. And I would tell my friends, I'd be so excited, but because there was nothing online or on TV or in books to show as evidence, they thought I was lying or I was exaggerating how many people came to see them or the stadium they played in. And so I always thought this would be a great film, this would be a great play, but I never really knew the time to do it in terms of people being interested or wanting to know more about women's football and its history because it's been so lost for so long. And then the women won the Euros. So I started writing this play in January 2022. And then that summer they won the Euros and everything just blew up. And I went, I think this is the time to really talk about the history and not only this tournament and not only the England team of this tournament, Argentina, Elba, all these other amazing, great names. But there are other names throughout the whole of the time from the ban until today that have really, really brought women's football to a forefront, and they should be celebrated.
Because there are a lot of stories, similar story. It doesn't matter if you're from England, Argentina, Italy. These stories are very similar. So you were fascinated about that because your aunt was a famous in Mexico. It was
yeah. Yeah, that was one of the most amazing things was hearing that my auntie was famous halfway around the world back in the 70s. Again, I would tell people and people wouldn't believe. And then to see pictures and to see the documentary and to see it right there, all this proof, it was very emotional because I knew it was truthful. I knew this happened. I knew I wasn't hearing anything different or no one was lying to me. But to see it on the screen and in front of everybody else who was seeing it at the same time was very emotional, was a lot. And to write this play was a lot as well, very emotional. And I'm just so proud. I'm so proud of my auntie. I'm so proud of the team. And hopefully there is scope for this play to really showcase and educate what women's football could be. Yes, we won, England won the Euros, and then there's the World Cup where Spain won, and that was groundbreaking as well. But there really is such scope for them to go even further, even after this. And that's so exciting.
So you told me that you take around two years, to write the play. But
yes.
What about to find the actors? Because I saw the cast and it looked fantastic. All of them very professional. They are,
Yes. So they're all mostly friends and friends of friends. Luckily, I'm very, very lucky to know some talented people. 2 of them especially are amazing football players who are also actors. One of them is called Mo Walker. She's the body double in adverts for the likes of Leah Williamson and Alessia Russo, who both played for the England Lionesses. And then there's also Amy Butler, who's another amazing player. She used to play football as well as do acting. And she's been in adverts with Saka and Leah Williamson for Pepsi. Yes, we're just very, very lucky to have those people who are so confident with the ball, especially in front of people, because that's quite hard, even if you do play football, to do things on beat or at the right time is a lot to do in front of people under pressure.
Exactly. I know that it's in London, but where exactly is?
Well, this space right here that's on this video, this was at the Vaults, which is in Waterloo in London, so south of London Central, if that makes sense. And they were so kind to give us a rehearsal space for free to rehearse the show. So this isn't where the show is, but it's where we're able to create the show and have that space, which we're very, very grateful for.
Oh, great skills. Great skills.
Yes.
Great soccer skills. Great.
That's Ma Walker there. She plays my auntie. And she was Here,
you are right now in the play, right?
Yes, that was in one of our rehearsals where we were able to have the set, the costumes, and just take some pictures and have fun. So as you can see, there are some cooler boxes that you can sit on. That was part of our set design. We wanted it to be very simple, and we thought it was quite fun to have that, which is so iconic in sport, but football, to be the set and to be people's chairs. And you also have the grass that we were able to install, which is amazing. Obviously, that sends home to people watching. We are playing football on real. We have the blue iconic jackets of the team with the British Independence logo, and they were able to source the logo from the pictures and then add them to the jackets, and they look amazing. They look brilliant. Wow. So thank you so much, Valdez. Honestly, they have really brought that together, and I think it looks amazing, and it really makes it look so authentic as well. So we couldn't have done that without them. The play starts back in Luton, and then qualifying in the Sicily qualifiers, and then traveling to Mexico. And then obviously it goes through the different matches that they've had. And their first match was obviously Argentina v England. And we know how that went, which my auntie had to relive. And throughout the show, we have reenactments of the match. So we basically play the match in front of you, which is really fun. So then obviously we have in the picture, again, that was Molly Walker, who plays Christine, but she does play Elba Silva at one point in the show. So she changes her shirt, she plays as Elba Silva, and she scores goals against England.
Now we are able to see the 4 goals.
Yes, 4 goals against England.
Sorry. I don't want to push that button, but yeah. Sorry.
I wasn't there with the amount of research I've done. It's settled. The trauma of hearing 4 goals against England. But yes, I believe there should be definitely an Elba Silva celebration day. For anyone, male or female, to do that to any country, 4 goals in a big tournament like that is an absolute achievement, a huge achievement. And even though it was so far back where people may not have experienced that themselves, I feel like it's never too late to understand and identify what happened and celebrate that achievement, and to make it such a national, iconic story to tell people and share.
Or would you like to do more?
Funny enough, yesterday I had people asking me what's next.
Yes.
And I was like, let me get through this week.
Okay.
It's been 2 years. This whole production has been 2 years in the making, and then some, really. And although it's been a labor of love and I've really enjoyed it, it would be nice to relax with this and enjoy this.
Okay.
But if you are asking, I would like to say in the future, I would like to do more stories about female footballers from the past who really should be celebrated and who weren't back in their time. There are plenty of other footballers and stories that I've heard from 1971, but also from other times in the world that really should be showcased, and for people to understand that history. We know a lot about men's football history and iconic moments throughout time. So why don't we learn about women's football, iconic moments in time, and understand where it's come from and how it's grown to this point and how we can do more to make it grow even more.
Who go to the play, they know about the World Cup in 1971 in Mexico. They know.
A lot of people spoke to me before the show and said they have not heard anything about this. Some people said, I've seen the documentary and I want to know more from the English perspective, which is what my play is about, even though I talk about Obra, Silvia Zaragoza, people who played in the other teams. It's predominantly from the English perspective. And a lot of people obviously don't know about the attendance rates, about how they became famous in Mexico, and also the negativity they received when they came home, and the fact that the players themselves, as young as they were, as young as 13, went through this amazing experience that a lot of people would crumble under that pressure. And then when they got home, they were banned and they felt like they couldn't speak about it for 50 years. And I think that's what gets people. And I believe that football is for all, and it's a gift. It's not something to shy away from or tell a certain group of people they're not allowed to do. It's for everyone. It should be shared. And I feel like sharing stories like this is just the start to create that mentality in football, which we've lost throughout the years. In terms of the male football and the female football, I believe they're both equal in terms of us and our interest, and the respect that they both should receive should be equal.
Are you happy with the play?
Over the moon, even more happy than I thought I would be. This has been a dream, and to hear people after they've seen the show and say to me they want to learn more, and they tell me that they go to the internet to find more information, and they want more stories and they want to learn more. And that's the best feeling for me, is that I've started a conversation, or I've started an interest into looking further into what has made women's football today, and not just watching the game now, which is still great, but learning about what brought us here. So that means a lot to me that I've started that conversation with a lot of people who came the last couple of days. So special. To research the show, I went to the British Library in London, and there is a section in the library that has many letters from football associations and the manager of the England team. And it was very interesting to read. It made it seem very real, more real than hearing it from my auntie and my mum, because I was reading physical letters from people I've never met. And it was very emotional, and it brings home with those letters, as well as the documentary, how much it means to people and how much time has lost to them for not being able to be proud and tell people and have people acknowledge that and appreciate it. And to lose more time in terms of growing the women's game after the ban in this country, but obviously there are bans in other countries across the world as well. So people are still trying to make back that time. I think it's a very important tournament to talk about. I'm so glad there's a documentary that has had widespread interest, which has been brilliant. Copper 71 is an amazing documentary, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. It was the start of everything, and I feel like there are people who say this tournament wasn't the start, but I don't know how those people can say that when there's such a big crowd of people. It was such a beautiful tournament, and to disregard that is unthinkable for me. There's so many amazing talented players and so many amazing great moments that you could have celebrated 50 so many years ago, and you choose not to. I don't know. it's interesting. There's still people now that disagree. And I think that's something that gives me a lot of energy to prove people wrong, or to start conversations with that. Because I believe, like I said earlier, football is for all, no bans. It's a gift. It's something to share with the world. This tournament is very, very special to me. And I think it's obviously special to a lot of people. And I feel honored to have made this play and to talk with you as well, Luis. Thank you so much for giving me this time.
You did a lot of work, hard work, a lot of effort. So you enjoy that moment because you deserve it.
Thank you. And then I'll go on holiday and I'll relax.
Okay. Enjoy your... Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Gente, denle like, suscríbanse a mi canal de YouTube que se llama PanaFeme, que eso me da muchísima fuerza. Abrazo, gente.